Hello and welcome to part 3, writing the harmonies of the first 8 bars. So let's just recap what we did for the first bar. We decided for a G, and then we decided for G over B, and then we decided for F major, going to E minor, going to C, then to A minor, to G, and to G over B. All right. What we are going to do now is I would think of what I can do on the second violins and violas. What I would personally do is to have a division on the second violins. I'm going to do my first voice as a G, second voice as a B. And then I think here I would also do a B. Why am I going to do a B is because I'm already having the fifth of the chord, which is D. I'm already intensifying the G here, and the G here helps to intensify the D because there's a fifth. I cannot have a B because if I would write a B here, of course, is a third, but then it's gonna clash with the C here. So I would rather just stay a bit lower like G. Here, I'm not gonna do D because doubling the fifth really doesn't help, but doubling the third would give the character of the chord. And I'm not going lower to a G because then things might get a little bit muddy if I decide to go and do a G lower, which is going to be here. It's fine, but I don't think that I'm going to do it. What I want to do is, since here I'm reaching out to a G over B, I want to harmonize this note. And the way to do it is that I would just make a crotchet passing chord. And what can work the best is from D, C, B. So G, what? B. Of course, A. Stepwise down, stepwise up. Beautiful. We have no problem in our outer voices. What I'm gonna do here, I think I will go to a C. And why do I go to a C? Good question. Is because if I come down from B, I come to an A, I can do it. But I feel again, I would get too close to the cello. So I just go to C to have a third of A minor. What can I have here? I think I'm gonna stay on the G. Why? Because I want to make it an A minor 7. Why do I want to make it an A minor 7? I don't know, but I can. There is no limitations to add the 7th degree of the chord, which is G. And what I'm going to do here, I can do a C, but I don't want to do, because if I do a C, it's going to be B, C, B, C, which is going to be like a kind of parallel octave-ish thing, which I don't want to do. So I'm gonna take a leap and go to an E. This way, I'm coming down. One is a staying to make it more stable kind of inner feeling. I'm gonna have a leap, which is fine. I'm going up and I'm going up. So one is a staying, one is coming down, three going up. Stepwise, a leap. So let's just get to the next one. What I can do here. If it's a G over B, I'm having a B here. I think I would just continue with the two voice. First voice, I'm gonna stay to a G. And for the second voice, I can go to a D. So what's happening here? Pretty obvious. I'm having the G, and then here I'm having a leap. And then whenever you're having a leap, you have to go stepwise down. If you're having a leap up, stepwise down. If you're having a leap down, stepwise up. So in that case, you can have a nice shaping inner melodies, you know? And so here I'm going to a D. Here, I think I also harmonize this part. So I'm not gonna stay by G over B. I'm gonna make it a crotchet, and I am kind of do a contrary motion because I have to reach to an F. So if I'm having a B here, I come down to an A and then to a G and then to F. So going up, coming down, reaching an octave in contrary motion, and then going up, coming down, and then reaching an F major. So what I'm gonna do here, I think I want my first violins to continue to support the melody here. So I would just go A, B, and C. So in this way, we are having supporting melody going up. And then what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna think of a contrary motion coming down. I assume here we are gonna have an A minor, and then here we are gonna have a G going to an F. What can I do here? Coming down. Why? Because this is already going up. This is already going up. So I want to make this contrary motion within the inner voices to make some movement. So I'm going to go to C, and then I'm going to B, and then finally I'm going to an A. So now the question is what to do with the violas. What I'm thinking here is I'm just going to go with a B to intensify the third. And then I go for C, and then I go for D, and then I go for C. So what is happening here? We are coming up. Here we do a unison between the second violins and the violas, and then the violas are coming higher than the second violins and reaching to this C, right? This is the C. You may ask why not to put this line for the violas coming down and then put this line for the second voice of the second violins to go up. You know, that kind of makes sense. But for me personally, I don't like that the violas have this line because for violas, this register is a bit too muddy and dark. Whereas for violins, it sounds more solid. So I would prefer to have this overlap of the tones here and be happy with it. As I said, can also have this for the lower, but I don't like. I would rather do this. So I'm having this kind of opening up sound from the second violins. I would rather have violas kind of go up and then cello come down rather than cello come down, viola come down, violins go up, because it kind of like, you know, like divides everything too much through the room. This is how I think. Even we can take this C to an F. And why can it go to the F is because it's too many C's, you know. Here we have a C, here we have a C, you know, again, another C. We really don't need it. So I would rather go to an F and have the A here. The other reason that also I want to come down this way and I don't want to go up that way is, for example, you just see like we're having a nice line here. If I be writing, you know, E, and then I come to D, and then again I decide to go to an E, I'm gonna have a two, you know, fourth together going up, which I don't like. So I like it better. And now we're coming into this position. So now let's move on to the next bar. We're having an E minor. What to do with the C minor? We can come down. So let me just copy, it's easier. We can come down and have our voice leading same as the second violins, G. And then since it's E minor, we come to a B. We also can have an E. Now let's have a listen to it. Good. Let's listen to the inner voices that we wrote. If you write C, it's also fine. So it's really a matter of taste if we go with a C here or if we go with a F. I would say, I will go with the F because it's coming down. And if this also comes down, I'm having a fifth here. And I don't want to have that. Proudly, I would go and jump on an F, which is going to sound here. And I'm not ashamed of it. So anyway, as I said, I want to have this contrary motion. I don't want everything to go up. If I decide to do an E, just imagine what is going to happen. So we're having a fourth and again another fourth and a jump, which doesn't make sense, right? So meaning that we have to again work on this one to bring it, for example, to a D. But again, 2/4, we are having a 6, again, it's not nice. Again, having D here, we go down, which again, the lines are going to be boring. We don't want to have that. So I would rather have it as this. So first violins going up, second violins, the first half of the violins are going up, the second half is coming down. The violas are going up, the cello is coming down. If the violas come down, the cellos come down, it becomes too dark, right side of the room. And then on the left side of the room, we are having everybody going up. Can you imagine? Because always think of it as the conductor, for example, or you're sitting on the first row of the concert hall. You get that kind of imbalance. For this specific part, I would like to make a richer texture. As I said, it's a creative process. This is what is coming to my mind, and we can move on. Good. To make the video shorter, I'm gonna finish this part here, and on the next part, we will continue to harmonize the rest of the bars. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next part.